haven't another log.
You sure did.
Gavin, how can we be so sure that Mrs. Arnold isn't going to call the police, especially when she sees Benny? I don't think I've ever seen anybody sleep so soundly.
Somehow I don't think Benny was used to drinking wine.
I don't know why we're laughing. I mean, we are in a lot of trouble.
Well, at least we're out of the clutches of Mrs. Arnold.
Yeah, and pretty soon we're going to be in the clutches of the police if you go through this harebrained scheme of yours, burglarizing the Whitney mansion.
It's not burglary, Jody. Burglars steal things. All we want to do is look at Sky Whitney's pocket watch.
To look at it, we have to steal it.
All right, well, maybe that's what we have to do. But we have to find out if that watch is the same one Gunther showed you the night the night he was shot.
Oh, please, pardon the intrusion. Might I participate in the conviviality of your hospitality and share the warmth of your hearth?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, by the way, would your intelligence contain any information as to the 8:15 transport to Washington?
I don't think trains stop here anymore, sir.
Oh, my. Then I'm going to be late for my appointment. Oh. Would you know if there's a telephone in the vicinity?
Yeah, I think there's a telephone booth up on that road over there.
Oh, good. I must make haste. I must hurry and call the White House before it's too late. By the way, have you got a small coin that you can lend me?
I don't think you can call Washington on a dime.
True. Perhaps you have a coin of a larger denomination. I feel a little indigent at this point in time.
I don't think so.
Oh, wait, I do.
Oh, bless you. I hope you're very, very, very happy, the both of you. Oh, I know. I eloped when I was very young. Oh, very, very young. It was the worst mistake in my life. Oh, young.
See, I told you shouldn't have eloped. It was a mistake.
Yeah, well, I can think of a bigger mistake. Gavin, this isn't funny. Look, if you go through with this with the Whitney mansion, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Come on, you're a dancer, not a cat burglar.
Yeah, well, a week ago, I didn't think I'd be a murderer either.
Don't say that. Look, come on, it's just as much as Gunther's fault as it is yours.
That's why I have to go through with it. Maybe I'm not totally responsible for Gunther's death.
What do you mean?
Listen, if what we think is true, if Sky Whitney was in the dance studio before the police arrived, if he took the watch off Gunther while he was helpless, he's the prime candidate to have knocked Miles over the head.
So what are you getting at?
He would only have done it for one reason, to make sure that the bullet had time to work, that Miles could not save him. Don't you see, Jody? If that is true, then Sky Whitney is my accomplice.
That means you're not totally responsible for Gunther's murder.
That's what I've been trying to say.
And your sentence wouldn't be as serious, would it? Gavin, you're right. We have to get a look at that watch.
See, now you're seeing it my way.
No, I'm not. Look, I don't see you breaking into the Whitney mansion and getting caught or killed.
Put your hands behind your back. You have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything or answer any questions. But if you do say anything, it can be used against you in court.
Right, you got it all by heart, Tyler.
This is not my first arrest, Mr. Wells, and it's not likely to be my last.
Be a very happy man, Mr. Tyler. This has been a long-time dream for you, my wife tells me.
Well, it must be very nice for you to be able to say my wife again, Mr. Wells. You did a great job of keeping the truth from me, Martine. Not only are you an excellent dancer, you're a very good actress.
Why do you do this? Why have you appointed yourself our persecutor?
Look, I don't have a personal vendetta against either you or your husband.
That's not what I heard, Tyler. My wife tells me you've had your eye peeled for me ever since she arrived in this town.
Well, it took me long enough to see the truth, didn't it? Look, please don't do anything foolish.
Please don't hurt him. Listen to me. Listen. Carlo has returned everything he stole from the Whitney house. You don't have to arrest him now.
The man has still committed a crime.
Of course, you policemen, that's all you care about.
Yes, next thing he's going to say is, it's my job, man.
It is my job. It's my responsibility. Look, Mr. Wells, because you returned the stolen property, they may show you some lenience.
Yes, it's something else called extradition.
Oh, they can't do that. They won't send you away.
It's true, we do have a special extradition agreement with both France and England. If they really want him, we'll have to send him back.
You can't do that. It's not fair. It wasn't a real robbery. What Carlo did was only a prank. A ridiculous, silly prank, that's all.
Yes, it was very stupid.
My God, everybody's entitled to one foolish, romantic gesture,
Martine,
no?
there's nothing I can do about it.
But he's no longer Collier Wares. He's another man.
It's not a good suggestion, my love. My fingerprints are all over the place.
But he's changed. He didn't just steal and take another name. He made a new one.
Martine, that's enough.
No, it's not enough, and don't try to stop me. I'm telling you, Detective, my husband has changed. He has a whole new career in front of him and a new name. Did he tell you that he was going to leave?
Well, it really doesn't surprise me.
Not because of the robbery, because of me. Because he wanted to make me free.
Well, where did you intend to go, Mr. Wells?
Anywhere, detective.
He wanted to start a new life, so that I wouldn't have to suffer his presence again.
My love, my being in prison is going to accomplish the same thing.
But I don't want to see you in prison. I don't want it. I want to be with you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Detective, once you saved my life, do you know what they say in the East? When you save someone's life, you are responsible for it. And you are.
Well, I guess everybody does have a right to make one foolish, romantic gesture. I'd get the hell out of here if I were you, Mr. Crown.
Been needing a news director at the station for months now. I just didn't want to bring anyone new in, that's all.
But a newscaster as the boss? That is ridiculous. I mean, I know Nicole Kavanaugh is pretty, but that's where it ends.
Nicole Kavanaugh happens to be the most popular newscaster in the history of WMON, and you must surely know that.
Well, there can't be that much to reading the news.
Oh, my dear, there's much more to that job than you realize.
But does that make her executive material?
Just the same. I have every hope it's going to turn out wonderfully.
Well, what I want to know is why you never think of me when you start handing out these jobs.
You? This is the first time I've ever even heard you mention the idea of working.
Well, why not? It would be fun. Especially if the job were glamorous.
Oh, I knew that there must be a condition.
Well, good evening. The man of the home is finally here.
Give me a hug, man.
All right, woman.
Skylar.
Oh, I haven't introduced you yet. Please permit me. This is the newest member of our staff, Spencer Varney.
How do you do, Mr. Varney?
This is my Aunt Geraldine, of whom I've told you so much.
I'm Mrs. Saxon.
How do you do, Mrs. Saxon? Please call me Spencer.
I hope you'll be very happy in this household, Spencer.
I'm sure I'll like it just fine, Mrs. Saxon.
Now, why don't you go on and have Chrissy fix you some dinner?
Thank you, sir. I will.
Okay.
It was very nice to have met you, Mrs. Saxon. If there's anything I can do for you at any time, please let me know.
Thank you, Spencer. Well, he's a far different cup of tea than Gunther, isn't he?
Yes, very different.
So, what did you do with your evening aside from miss me terribly?
I amused myself.
Hmm?
I had a visitor.
Who was that?
Why, that was Detective Damian Tyler.
What's he doing here? He's got no reason coming over here and bothering you, except for the fact that he likes it.
Perhaps he was just doing his job.
Oh, no, this goes far above and beyond his job, Geraldine. He's got a crush on my wife. Didn't you know that?
Skylar?
Oh, it's true. It certainly is. He hopes that sometime he's going to come over here and find a bored housewife ready for a little extracurricular activity.
Yes, well, I think it's time for me to go upstairs and change for dinner. If you'll excuse me.
See you later, Geraldine.
I think I may have shocked Aunt Geraldine.
I love it when you're jealous.
Yeah, well, just don't go out of your way to make me jealous.
You know I never would.
You wouldn't, huh?
No. I love my husband too much to ever look at another man. You know that.
And you know how I feel about you, don't you?
No. Tell me how much you adore me. I love to hear it.
Well, I love you so much I killed a man for you, Raven. Now, what greater expression of love is there than that? I killed for you, and I'd do it again. But now you don't have to worry. We've got other protection.
Which reminds me of something.
What's that?
When Damian met Spencer, before Spencer went to pick you up from the theater, he said something very curious.
What did he say?
He said that he recognized Spencer from a police lineup, perhaps?
That Tyler never gives up, does he?
Excuse me. Is there anything more I can do before I go upstairs?
No, Spencer, that'll be all, thanks.
Spencer, there is something that you could do for me.
Yes, Mrs. Whitney.
Have you ever met the man that you met tonight, the police officer?
No, I've never seen him before.
Well, that's funny, because apparently he knows you.
Perhaps, but I'm quite sure I don't know the man.
Oh. Well, I'll see you later.
Are you sure that'll be all, sir?
Well, no. No, as a matter of fact, Spencer. There is one more thing you can do for me tonight. Try that on for size.
What is it?
Now open it up and look. It's all part of the job, Spencer. It's all part of the job.
I'm familiar with the weapon, sir.
I want you to keep that with you at all times. At all times. In case we're bothered by another, intruder.
So, what do you think, Jody?
I guess I'll just have to stick by my guy, huh?
Mr. Whitney.
Good morning, Spencer.
What time would you like to leave for the theater, sir?
Well, we've got a few minutes. I'm having a broker's meeting before I go to the theater. So, how did you like your new, quarters?
Just fine, thank you.
Well, I'm glad you found them comfortable. As comfortable, I hope, as that little present I gave you yesterday. I'm sorry that's necessary, Spencer, but after the events of the last few weeks, I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that you've got that you've got that gun. I imagine you heard about this Romeo Slade business.
Yes, sir, I read about it. You did the right thing, Mr. Whitney.
Well, it wasn't a very successful object lesson since we were burglarized once again.
Yes, I remember. I was here when Mr. Wells phoned.
We didn't make it public because all the goods were returned. But I just feel an awful lot safer knowing that you've got that gun. Much safer than if I had a burglar alarm or anything like that.
Excuse me. Yes?
I'd like to speak to Mr. Whitney, please.
One moment.
That's all right, Spencer. I hope you're not going to waste any time telling me what you want here, Tyler.
No time at all. I'm just delivering a message from Martine Duval.
What?
Miss Duval has asked me to explain to you that circumstances require that she resign from the Whitney Dance Company. She also sends her deepest regrets.
She can't resign. She can't walk out on me. She's under contract.
Hey, I'm just carrying a message, Mr. Whitney.
Where is she?
I really can't say. I just know that she's left town.
She can't leave. She's got a performance tonight.
Well, you're just gonna have to do without her because she's gone. So is Carlo Crown.
They left together?
Looks that way.
Are you still saying that this guy Crown and Wells is one and the same person?
Well, I made a mistake about that, Mr. Whitney. Apparently, Carlo Crown is exactly who he says he is. Anyway, they've left together. And that's the message. So you have a good day.
Now, you know more about this than you're telling me.
Mr. Whitney, you didn't know that it's a felony to assault a police officer.
Spencer.
Please let go of Mr. Whitney.
Well, Spencer, since you asked so politely, why not? Look, I don't like to use unnecessary roughness, Mr. Whitney, but I think you better learn to control your temper.
Throw him out, Spencer.
Hey, I wouldn't try that if I were you. Now, I don't think it's a good idea for you to ask your new employee to do, too much, Mr. Whitney. You see, he's already had a rough life as it is.
What are you talking about?
Well, you asked Spencer.
I'm asking you.
Well, Mr. Varney has already killed 2 men, Mr. Whitney.
All right, Spencer, I've only got a few minutes before my broker's meeting. I want to hear it from you. Was that cop just mouthing off or what?
It's true, Mr. Whitney. I did kill 2 men, but I was only doing my job.
Were you sent to prison?
No, I was never prosecuted.
Well, what happened?
I was working in St. Louis at the time, working for a man who was under pressure that he owed a large sum of money. The man who lent him the money sent a couple of goons to collect. Got very ugly. Very ugly. I had no choice. I had to use my gun. It was unavoidable. Anyway, I was defending my employer and myself. I was fully exonerated, Mr. Whitney. You can check the records.
No, I'm not going to have to check the records, Spencer. I'm sure now that I've hired the right man. I'm glad that you've got that experience. Just in case you might need it.